with the PhD Consultants, and I am the host of this podcast, Doing the Doctorate Podcast. Listen, have you ever been in your doc program and felt like giving up? Have you ever felt like taking out some of your frustrations on those very people who are supposed to help to guide you through? Have you ever felt like, I'm just throwing in a towel? This thing, it's just not for me. If any of that sounds familiar to you, you've got to hang in here for today's podcast. But first, you've got to check me out. There are some resources that will help you get through. Follow me, Dr. Kesslin, on YouTube, social media, IG, Facebook, LinkedIn. I might even be on TikTok if you look hard enough. Just follow, subscribe, like, share. I'm Dr. Kesslin everywhere. There are some free information, some resources that I have to help make your doctoral journey easier. But you also want to tune in for today's show. We're going to ask those questions and get some inspiration and some information from today's guest, Dr. Noah Washington. Stand by for Dr. Wash. Dr. Noah, what's going on?
How you doing? I'm good.
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, before we jump in, I need to let the people know who's at the table today.
Yeah.
So let me just tell them a little bit about you. Dr. Washington is an absolutely amazing person. Let me just start with that. He's just an amazing person. He is an academician. He's an adjunct professor. He is an associate pastor. Now he's moving on up to the pastor status. He is an accomplished author. He is such an amazing leader. He's also the founder of Inspiring Purpose, with a mission to help people live more intentionally as individuals and in their relationships. We are honored to have Dr. Washington. For 16 years in ministry, he has served, he has prayed, he has praised. Y'all need to hear that brother preach. I tell you, he will set your soul on fire. Don't shake your head. You know it's the truth. He has published. He is just doing it all, really. But I dare say he would not be the man that he is without a wonderful woman by his side, his college sweetheart, Twyla, and their two children, Noah Alexander and Drew McKenzie. Y'all, when he is not doing all of those amazing things, preaching and singing, I don't know about that. I'm gonna come back to that. You go a little bit, okay. When he's not being amazing in his professional world, you might actually find him enjoying some music, playing a game, or watching a game of basketball, having a good laugh. He loves to make people laugh. Listen, we are delighted. If I was in church, I would say, put your hands together and welcome my friend and my colleague in this work, Dr. Noah Washington. What's up, Dr.
Thank you for having me. Oh, man. Just trying to rest during the summer, but I haven't been able to do that yet.
I don't understand. What is rest?
I'm going to tell you something. Once this month is over, I'm doing nothing.
Okay, I got
Absolutely nothing. But
gotcha.
Yeah. It's been busy last 2 weeks. I'm teaching summer classes, so I'm teaching 3 classes right now. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. It's way too much. But I love teaching. I do. So
did you ever think you would want to be a teacher?
That's a good question. I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I'm like, man, let me check this thing out, see how it is. But I really enjoy teaching college, and I enjoy teaching freshmen.
Talk to me about that. Why?
Because I teach sophomores, juniors, seniors.
Yes.
But I like teaching freshmen most because I like to help shape and mold eager, young, and open minds. Mm-hmm. By the time they get to their junior, senior year, they got one thing on their mind, and I get
graduation.
They're trying to graduate, and they got more excuses than a brother going to jail in terms of, trying to get by, trying to get over. And my thing is this: ask any of my students, I don't consider, and I don't think they would consider myself like a hard professor, because I have a philosophy of education, which is this. If you are so scared you're going to pass, and if you are so scared you're not going to make an A or B, if you are so tense in coming in, then you're not trying to learn. The learning
Come on, that's tweetable right there. That's tweetable.
Yeah,
I need to cut. That's a cut card.
And we are here more than to just reproduce a letter grade. This is a learning environment. So at the end of the day, my goal is to have you leave here thinking differently, not just about what I'm teaching, but about life. Now, if I can do that, then education has happened. And because we are in an academic environment, we got to do work. You're going to write a paper. You're going to do some reading.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a quiz or test. And the reason I'm doing that, I tell my students, and this might be a little different, Doc, but it's my philosophy.
Come on.
I give you quizzes and tests, not for you, but for me.
I feel you. Talk to me about that, because I think I like it.
I need to see, is the educational process working? So if the majority of my students do well, then it says, man, maybe I am getting through. If it's not, then I need to tweak how the learning process is going.
I'm with you on that.
Listen, that doesn't mean the quizzes and tests aren't difficult at times.
Right.
But you're going to know everything that's going to be on there. I don't frame my tests or quizzes to try to trip you up or test you on some obscure thing, because then you're not learning. You're going to forget it. Half the stuff we learned in undergrad, we're not using on an everyday basis. But the educational process that happened, I promise you, you're still going to learn.
I love it. I say if the students, if most of the students in my class didn't pass my test, that's not a reflection of them. That's a reflection of me.
So I'm going to tell you something. Shameless plug.
Come on.
And I hate admitting this. I definitely would have. When I was in undergrad, Doc, you were teaching in the social work department at our beloved Oakwood College, now university.
Yes.
And man, it was almost like you had social work. I was joking with a social work student at the time. It was almost like you had social work disciples. And I mean, they were just so excited about being.
We almost got you, didn't we?
Man, I was 2 seconds away from joining that department just because of the energy that I felt was coming out of that. Now, I was excited to graduate with I took this class, my last semester, a new class they started called Human Sexuality with Dr. Ashley. And let me tell you, there are some things from that class that I to date use in my premarital education sessions.
I'm going to send him this clip and tell him to go to 9.0. Watch it. I will let him know.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. Social work is practical ministry. That's what it is.
Yeah. And I just always get offended when you was like, Jesus was a social worker.
Jesus was a social worker.
I remember one time I told one of your students, I said, Jesus wasn't no social worker. They were like, well, what was he then? I was like, he was the son of God. He wasn't no son. So the energy.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Energy that came out of there, man. It was just dope. And I was like, man, whatever she's doing over there, I want some of that.
Thank you, Doc.
Right. And so, I love teaching. Did I ever think I was going to? I didn't know, but I was curious about it.
Yeah.
And there have been some teachers that I've had who have been so just amazing. It's wanted me to be in a position to help shape, mold, put some things out there to make you think about life differently type thing. So it's been good. I've been adjunct teaching now for maybe 4 years now, and I like adjunct.
If you're teaching 3 classes in one semester, that sounds a little more than adjunct. But okay, I hear you.
You know that.
You need SMH, a full-time contract.
SMH emoji.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like not being a full-time though, because I can just come in, teach, shape, mold, mind, and leave.
Yeah, I feel.
I mean, that's all. So I love it. Well,
I'm glad that some little light that I had 30 years ago, 20, however long it was.
Lord
Listen,
have mercy. No, it was more than a light. It was more than a little light. Yeah.
Yeah, I thank God. I tell people, for the most part, I am the same energetic person now. I'm a little older, so it's but
I get it.
I don't do things that I'm not passionate about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I can't bring it,
right,
then I don't need to do it. Right.
Exactly.
So anyway, so that's how I feel about doctoral education. I tell people I'm a little I'm a little geeky about it. But let me tell you why. Doctoral education allows people to be their true selves. I've always been an inquisitive person. I've always asked questions. As a child, I used to get in trouble for asking questions. My mother's Southern, why you don't ask questions. You just do what you're told to do. Mm-hmm. But now I get paid to ask questions.
Wow. Okay.
It's my natural self. I get paid to help people think about how to resolve this issue. I am a creator. I'm as a musician, you're a creator, right?
Yeah.
So as a doctor, I'm able to create innovations based on the answers that I got from the questions that I asked.
Got you.
I'm excited about that.
Got you.
And my innovations help to change the world. It's all social work. It's all social work.
It's all social work.
It's all social work. So I know that at the doctoral level, when I'm helping people think through their process, understand themselves. See, this ain't about my interview. This is your interview.
Anyway. I should have came and talked to you when I was in the thick of it. I may have thought differently.
Yeah, but I get it. It's not a degree of intelligence. It's a degree of persistence.
Oh, yeah.
And I just help make it real. Same teacher. I'm helped to simplify things so that it's not you. There are just some things you might have to tweak in order for you to get through to make a difference in the world.
And I definitely wish that I did, because one of the things I was sharing with somebody is, this is going to sound real elementary, but it's the truth. You don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
Right? And if I never wrote a dissertation before. You just don't know what to do. Even from the vantage point of, when I first started, I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed that, I was a doctoral student. Okay, that sounds cute.
Yes, it sounds good.
Yeah, all it means is more work. But I was researching stuff, but I didn't even know how to research. And then when I was doing the research, how do I, synthesize it or categorize it so that it will make sense for what I want to write? I mean, it was just so many unnecessary stuff that I was doing.
Yes.
And I think people need real help with just trying to get through, the process. I never shall forget
y'all heard the preacher? Y'all heard the preacher? He said, I never shall forget. Come on, preacher. Come on.
The first night, it was a Sunday night. And one of the professors or somebody in the program got up and walked us through, literally from the beginning to end, everything we would have to do. Classes, dissertation. And I'm sitting in there. I'll never forget this. I'm sitting in that auditorium saying to myself, I done signed up for the wrong thing. Because, and I don't know the stats on this, but most people right now who are working on their doctorate, they got a full family. They're working full time. You know what I mean? And so with that load, I was just like, I really don't think I can do all this. And it had been a 6-year gap between my master's and starting my doctorate. And
it didn't matter though, Doc, because the doctorate is a whole different kind of thing.
No. My point is saying it took me some time just to get back into the rigors of being in school.
Got you.
Like having deadlines to turn stuff in, because I was in class intensive. So stuff will be given out on Monday and it's due the next day. So it took me some time to get back into the rigors of education. And so you know, I was just like, man, y'all got the wrong guy. What did I sign up for? Why am I doing this?
Yes.
But what pushed me forward was two things. I was reading something the other day that I wrote in high school, and one of my goals was to get a doctorate degree.
Wow.
And I was reading the other day, I said, man, this is crazy. But the other thing is my research is what's pushed me.
Talk about that. Come on.
So talk about what?
Your research that pushed you.
What about, you want me to talk to you about the research or how it pushed me?
How it pushed you, and then you can talk about the research.
So I will tell you, half the battle, in my opinion, in doctoral work is make sure you pick a topic that you're passionate about. Because if you're not, I mean, listen, there was a point, you know, I don't know if you experienced, but there was a point in my writing where I was like, you know what? I don't even know what I'm writing about anymore. Everything looks the same. The words are running together. And so because I was so passionate about my topic, it pushed me to want to produce something that I could take around to people and say, hey, this is not just, and I don't mean to sound like this. I don't want to sound too elementary or jaded to people who have done this, who have not gotten a doctorate. They've prayed, they've researched stuff just from a energy standpoint off of bringing books together. But I wanted to produce something that was researched from an educational level, not just I've had experiences. So let me see, 5 or 6 years, something like that, before I started my doctorate, I did this thing at my church. I was pastoring a church called the Bladensburg Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I did this thing at my church based on a book called The 10 Commandments of Dating. So the book was called The 10 Commandments of Dating. So I took that book and did this thing called 10 Commandments of Dating, 10 Sundays starting from September. Let me tell you something, Doc. There were more people coming to that on Sunday than there was on prayer meeting on Wednesday. I mean, it was full every week. Why? Because so many people start dating and they're like, listen, what I'm doing ain't working. Let me at least try something else, right? And there are actually 2 couples that attended that got married off of it.
Wow.
One of them is my sister-in-law, right? So my sister-in-law actually a couple months ago, she says to me, she's like, bro, you need to do 10 Commandments of Dating again. So I laughed at her. She's like, what you laughing at me for? It helped us. I said, sis, I'm going to be honest with you. What I have now would make that stuff that I shared look like I was in elementary school. Wow. I mean, it's the stuff I have now based on my research and what I've crafted.
Wow.
It will put that stuff to shame. And so what I actually did was I took my doctoral research and took what I used and spun it into a seminar that can be used to help people. So my full dissertation title is Making Informed Marriage Choices, an alternative to American dating practices for young adults in Columbus, Ohio. So I came up with a process that young adults can use as opposed to normative dating practices. And I wanted to see if there was going to be a change of mindset based on the information that I presented. So I had like 15 young adults that came and rocked with me for 7 sessions.
Oh.
And every session was a piece of the process. So when they came the first night, I gave them a pre-survey. The pre-survey,
a pre-test. Gave them a pre-test. Yeah.
I gave them a pre-test that basically gave me their mindset of what they thought about dating, stuff about their home of origin, stuff about arranged marriage practices, stuff about zodiac signs, which was a part of my dissertation. And then I gave them the information. The information included stuff about, so the first session was heavily about being aware of who you are. And the basic premise is you're not eligible to get with somebody else until you first understand fundamentally who you are, because there's nothing worse than two fools walking in the wrong direction. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it also included, one of the sessions was mentoring. So I had 5 couples that had at least 30 years of marriage. I put them up on a stage, and after doing my presentation, the I hate calling them this, but subjects asked questions to those that have time in marriage, because one of the things that I purported in my dissertation was about arranged marriages. So I'm going to say something that's going to cause some consternation for some people, or maybe not. I actually believe in principle, not practice. You follow me? In principle, not practice, I believe in arranged marriage.
I had that conversation with my parents this weekend.
I do. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the thought behind arranged marriage is we don't trust marriage in the hands of people who have never been married before. Now, the reason why, and there are, I just used 5 in my dissertation to purport in the process, but I talked about several factors as to how they're arranging people. So one of the factors is faith. So there's agreement in faith in the arrangement. So you're not going to arrange a Hindu with a Muslim. You're not going to arrange a Jew with a Christian. They got to be of the same. So basically, is how the spirituality, how they express their spirituality, is their agreement there. Another agreement is agreement on families. Are these families, are they stamping this? Because in arranged marriage, this family is saying, we think our daughter is the best for your son. And this family is saying, we think our son is the best for your daughter. And we're not just thinking about their current relationship, but we're thinking about the posterity of and longevity of these families. So there's agreement in family. There's agreement in, I'll say it like this, felt needs, how culturally you guys express yourself, right? And so
don't give it all away now, Doc, because you need people to come.
I'm gonna leave. All right.
So you need people to come to your session.
I do.
Listen,
so
because it's good stuff.
Here's on the other side. I don't believe a lot in the practice of it, because in many arranged cultures in the world today, there is a lot of abuse and extortion.
Yes.
I remember reading, Doc, this term that I had never heard before. And when I use it, a lot of people had never heard it before. There's a term in scholarship called legal rapes. You've heard of it, I know, where these men are being arranged with these young women, teenagers, and they are consummating the marriages, and there are no laws on the books to, even though people are working on it, there are no laws on the books to protect them. So they're calling them legal rapes. And so a lot of times, people just trying to get money. And so I don't agree with the practices of a lot of it, but the principle is definitely spot on. And so they rocked with me for those 7 sessions. And then I gave them a post-test and discovered that there was definitely a shift in the mindset of so in the pre-test, some of them were like, absolutely not. I think 100%, I can't remember, but I think 100% was like, absolutely not arranged marriage. In the post-test, it was like some of those responses had changed. Maybe, possibly, you know what I mean? So
that's good stuff.
It said to me that there were definitely things in the process that people would be amenable to.
So your research, your interest in the topic kept you going.
Oh, listen, I quit in my mind about 50 times.
And that's it?
Well, that was on just for one. That was on one day.
I got you.
Day.
Yes. Yeah.
But when I thought about what I was working on, well, I'm gonna tell you something else that pushed me. That's gonna make you laugh. When I thought about the topic I was doing, and then when talking to people, them asking me what my research was on, and me telling them, and they was like, "Oh my God!" Like 99% of people, they was like, "When you finish, can I please read it? Can I please read it? Because I need that." So that's what pushed me. Here's the third thing that pushed me. When also when having conversations with people and the question, "Wait a minute, you ain't finished yet?"
And there's silence in the room because any doctor,
I thought you was done.
Yeah,
you still working on that?
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. It got so annoying, and it's probably one of the reasons why I'm not even on Facebook as much. I got so doggone. I was about to say something else, but I passed her. I got so tired of looking on Facebook and seeing people that had finished, and I was still working. I was like, you know what? No. So, that was a motivating factor.
Yes,
it was. You know what I mean? But
and different people have motivating factors. I don't care. You find you one. I say it all the time.
So I'm gonna tell you this too. You mentioned my wife. There was one day, I want to say it was a Sunday. I was in this office that I'm in right now, and I ain't gonna tell you everything that happened, but just say it was a bad day with trying to finish. And I left out this room, and I ain't afraid to say it as a man. I was crying. And I don't know anybody who has finished their doctorate that ain't shed at least a little tear.
Right.
I was crying, and I told my wife, I said, "I'm done. I am done. I'm not doing this no more, and I'm done." And she said probably one of the dopest things I've ever heard. She said, "Well, listen. If you decide to quit, I'll still support you. But if you decide to finish, I'll support you as well. But I want you to know this. If you decide to quit, the pain of you not finishing is going to be greater than the pain you're experiencing right now." So I said, that sounds pretty good. Okay, got you. Because then she said, which is true, she said, "You're still going to want to go back and finish. So you can do it now or you can do it later." And that might have been like one of the last that I needed to be like, you know what? Okay. When I finally got, okay, I'm going to quit out my mind after that night, I was like, okay, it's going to be rough for the next, whatever, several weeks, but I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish this. Yeah. Absolutely.
The doctoral degree, it's not merely a degree of intelligence. This degree is a degree of persistence.
Oh, no question.
All the time.
Yes.
Doc, we listen, I don't know if I asked one interview question, but that was good food. That was good.
Go ahead and ask me one so we can say we had one.
So Dr. Washington, in closing, are there any pearls of wisdom, one or two, that you might leave for somebody who's thinking about getting a degree or who's in the program? Pearls of wisdom.
That's actually a loaded question. So let me start here, and this may, morph into that. So I am from Northeast DC originally. I grew up in Northeast DC during the height of the crack epidemic when they gave my beloved city, Chocolate City. It ain't too chocolate anymore, but they gave my city that infamous title, murder capital of the world. That's my Genesis. That's what I came up through. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not too many dudes that come up through that get their doctorate. In fact, I would love to see the research on African American males from the inner city who complete a doctoral degree. The last thing I saw, I don't know how true this is, but African American males who have their doctoral degree are like in the 1 percentile. It's a very, very small number.
Globally.
Yeah, very, very, very small number. And so that was the other thing, because you can take the child out of DC, you can't take the DC out of the child. And so what's been put in me, the fact that I completed a doctoral degree, but the DC is still in me, I think is helpful to the everyday person, because they say, man, I think I could do it. So my pearl of wisdom is so many. Get around a good core of people. I guess the saying is true. Misery loves company. I had somebody rocking with me that was finishing their doctorate as well during the same time I was. That might have been one of the biggest sources of support and strength. Shout out to Dr. Vandion Griffin. Shout out to Dr. Alfonso Green. They were finishing their literally the same time I was. Wow. So Dr. Vandion Griffin and myself would wake up in the morning, like 5:30 every morning, text each other. You up? You up? We have some time with God, and then we get in it. We would check with each other during the day. Hey, where you at? Where you at? This, that, and the third. That's to help motivate it. So I would say, you can't always do this, but if you can find somebody that you can get through this thing with, it is helpful.
Absolutely.
Very helpful. Yes. And I give you another
who are with me, I match them with somebody else. People who are with my program, I match them with somebody else, because you need a partner. You need somebody to walk.
I give you another pearl of wisdom. Get you a Dr. Kessler. That's what you need to do. Help you finish that doggone degree. You need somebody. So I'm gonna say this last thing, and then I'll be done. People always wonder why they go through certain experiences and why they have certain experiences, and some of the most toughest experiences of our lives. We question, man, why did I go through that? Why did I fundamentally believe it's because it's so that you have street cred for what you're talking about. Nobody wants to hear from somebody that has not been through what they're trying to go through. So after having gone through what you got to go through, you now have credibility for what you're talking about. And so, man, and I also think every sharpened tool is always better than a dull one. And so doctoral research sharpens your tools to be able, to give you power to be able to help people even more.
And that's what it's all about, Doc.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah.
For some people, it's just about being called doctor.
No, it's definitely not about that for me.
No, because anybody can call themselves doctor. For
listen,
real.
I true story. I know people that have printed off pieces of paper or gotten stuff from non-accredited schools, and I've been calling them doc for years. And when I talk to them, when I start digging, I'm like, you ain't writing no dissertation. Oh, you ain't got your. What are you talking about, right? So it's not about that. It's placing yourself in a position to be of better help to people.
I say to make a dynamic difference in the world.
Yes.
Because if you're not doing that, then what good is it?
What good is it?
Yeah. What good is your education? Doc, I tell you, this has been rich. This is good. This is good. This is good. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. If we were in church, I would say, wasn't that good? Wasn't that good? It's good. Dr. Noah Washington, you continue to you continue to work. I appreciate you for being here today. I appreciate you for sharing your time. Where can folk find you? I didn't even say that. Where can folk find you? Where are you
in the summertime, they can find me at Rita's, because that drink will help cool your body temperature down like 10 degrees.
He said Rita's, y'all.
Yeah, Lord, you got the Rita's. But I'm on Facebook, but I ain't really on there. Twitter, Noah Wash, Instagram, noahwash.me, and Inspiring Purpose. That's where I am. That's me.
That's awesome. I appreciate your time.
Definitely.
I know we had to squeeze you in because you know
squeeze it, because I'm about to leave here and go help some more couples.
That's all right. That's
so,
all right.
I
appreciate you.
Definitely.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining our podcast today. I hope you have been inspired and informed by Dr. Noah Washington. Y'all follow that brother. He's doing some great work. And follow me. I'm on all your social media handles, Dr. Kesslin, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We might be YouTube. We might be on TikTok. I don't know. I'm just everywhere. But my goal is to help you get in, through, and out of your doctoral degree, saving some time and money, so you can do what doctors do, and that's making a dynamic difference in the world. The doctoral degree, it is not merely a degree of intelligence. It is a degree of persistence, and we are here to help you persist. Why? Because your research matters.
Wow.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you for being here. Dr. Washington, I will see you soon. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Love you, Mom and Daddy. Peace.